Good morning, Mom. Hope you slept well. Dikanna asked, looking at how gruffled Ojugo looked that morning. Dikanna knew all was not well. Dikanna, please can you sit down? I want to have a heart-to-heart talk with you. I'm all ears, Dikanna replied as he sat up on his bed. Dikanna, my son, my husband. Even though Dikanna always got uneasy whenever Ojugo called him by that name. So he decided to play cool that morning so there will be no problems with his mother. She hates it whenever he complains. So Dikanna, continued Ojugo, that girl that came yesterday, what did you even call her? Mom, you mean Isioma? Yes, my son, Ojugo replied. Well, my son, the truth is that I don't like her. She lacks manners. See the way she was just throwing herself on you when you have not even married her. Dikanna's heart skipped. Mom, I don't understand what you're trying to say about Isioma. Isioma is a very good girl and also respectful. We love each other, and I don't see anything bad in her being comfortable in your presence. Hmm, Dekanna, what I'm saying is that my spirit does not accept her, and I also think you need to pray very well before asking any woman to marry you. You know a lot of things are happening today in marriages, so you have to open your eyes very well. Mom, everything is not all about prayer. I really love Isioma, and she loves me too. I think that is what really matters here. He said, feeling more uncomfortable. Mom, is there another thing you have to say? As you know, this is still very early in the morning. I need some time to myself before going out. Dikanna said as he tried to stretch himself. For now, that will be all, Ojugo replied, as she managed to stand up from the sofa where she was sitting, looking so disappointed with Dikanna's opinion about her fear and disapproval for Isioma. So this means Dikanna's mind is already made up. He wants to marry that girl Isioma, and he's not ready to take any advice from me, she thought to herself as she entered her bedroom. That same day, Ojugo traveled back to her base. The following weeks that followed, Dikanna proposed to Isioma on her birthday. She was overjoyed. It was double blessing for her. She accepted Dikanna's proposal that night. Dikanna called his mother Ojugo on the phone and told her about his plans to go and see Isioma's family officially in preparation for their marriage. Mom, can you hear me? He asked, as he was not getting any response from Ojugo's end. He tried to change his position, thinking the phone network was bad. Ojugo lost words. She was so sad. She could not believe that her son was going ahead with his plans to marry Isioma after all she had said to him, and she was still shocked with the news. She only managed to respond to Dikanna on the phone. I have heard you, Ojugo replied coldly. So you have fixed the date? Yes, Mom, Isioma and I have fixed it. To be 3 weeks from now, Dikanna replied excitedly. That's fine, Dikanna. Let me prepare now, so I will make the necessary calls to your uncles. Thank you so much, Mom, Dikanna replied as he ended the call. Ojugo sat on her bed. After the call with Dikanna, she could see her world crumbling. Her heartbeat kept racing fast. So this is how another woman like me is coming to take my son away from me after spending over 20 years of my life that I've given to my son. From nowhere, she just comes to reap from where she did not sow. Dikanna just got a job 2 years ago. All he could think of is getting married. He has not even taken care of me. Is it not his mates that are buying cars for their mother? He has not even married me enough. And now he wants to get married and leave me to myself. Before you know now, he'll start having children. She could not have anything for dinner that night, as she was so miserable and despair. Fears were coming to reality at last. Ojugo swore to herself that she lost her husband to the cold hands of death many years ago, making her a widow in her early 20s. And now, another woman like her wants to snatch her husband and son Dikanna away from her after all these years of her sacrifice. It will not happen, no, she said, as she rolled on her bed with anger. A few days after, Ojugo was able to put across some calls to her late husband's family about the marriage of their brother's son, and they were excited with the news. and promised to be there to play their part as his kinsmen. Few months after, Dikanna married Isioma traditionally, and in the space of 2 months, they got wedded in the church. That fateful morning, Dikanna woke up with a wide smile on his face radiating in joy. He was so happy that few hours from now, he was going to be the latest married man in town. He was so elated that he was getting married to Isioma, the love of his life. As he was getting ready for church, inside his hotel room, Ojugo walked in with these pleading eyes and sad look on her face. Mom, are you not ready yet? It's 30 minutes to church service, and we have few minutes left to be in church. And you are still here, dressed like this. What's happening, Mom? Surprised that Ojugo was still not prepared for the wedding. Isioma is already on her way to the church. Please, Dikanna, can I borrow a few minutes from your time? I know we are running late, but it's a matter of urgency, and I need to talk to you about something that has been bothering me for some time now, Ojugo said in a desperate tone. What is it? Dikanna asked impatiently, glancing at his wristwatch. Dikanna, my husband. Yes, Mom, he answered hesitantly. You know a lot of things is going to change from today, but I want you to remember that you are my living husband and my son. I want you to promise me that you will continue to love me and that nothing will change in our relationship as my son. So promise me, Ojugo said, as tears dropped from her eyes. Mom, please don't do this now. Today is supposed to be a joyful day for all of us. Dikanna held Ojugo close to himself. Mom, you are my mother. Nothing can change my love for you. I promise, he said, cheering her. So, Mom, please hurry and go and prepare. We are running late. Oh, Dikanna, my son. I'll do that immediately. Thank you, Dikanna, Ojugo said as she walked back to her hotel room. The wedding indeed was a very beautiful one. Dikanna was looking so handsome in his well-tailored suit. Isama was looking so beautiful and dazzling in her beautiful bridal dress. She was beaming in joy. Dikanna and Isioma danced and danced happily as the guests cheered and celebrated them. Ojugo just managed to hang on her seat as her son Dikanna and Isioma exchanged their marital vows to each other. She looked sternly and sneered at them. She only tried to fake a smile throughout that day. After the close of the wedding reception, the unusual happened. When it was time for Dikanna to go home with his beautiful bride Isioma, Ojugo was already seated on the passenger seat close to the driver. When Dikanna and Isioma wanted to enter the car, they were surprised to see Ojugo sitting tightly on the seat, looking very serious, with this bold face that was really ready for any confrontation. Mom, where are you going to? Are you no longer staying in your hotel room, which I paid for? Dikanna asked in surprise. Well, Dikanna, as you can see, I am going home with you. You cannot leave me here. Ojugo said boldly, to the amazement of everyone present. Mom, I don't like this. Oh. What's happening? What do you mean that you are following me home? Some of Dikanna's family members tried to intervene, but Ojugo was not ready to take back her words. Mom, please now. Even if you want to come to my house, it cannot be today now. I need this special time with my wife. Dikanna replied desperately, but Ojugo was unconcerned. She was not bothered. After all his pleas, Dikanna decided to go home with his mother. When they got home, Dikanna was so uncomfortable. He wondered what could be up her sleeves. He knew his mom so well. She could be sarcastic sometimes, and that he was not ready for her drama. That night, in Dikanna's house, Ojugo just sat on the bed, thinking and feeling fulfilled. She decided not to bother so much, at least one step at a time. I am in my son's house, she said, smiling to herself. It was now over a week after Dikanna's wedding. One morning, before leaving for work, Dikanna went to see Ojugo that morning. After they exchanged pleasantries, he said to her, Mom, when are you going back to Lagos? You know I'm now married and I need time and space with my wife. We have decided no family member would visit or live with us until after 2 years, so we can have time for ourselves. Even though I know 2 years is too small for us to know each other. It will really help our relationship. Okay, my son, I heard you. But I'm not a family member now. I'm your mother. So for now, I'm going nowhere. I have come to stay. What do you think? That you can just leave me and you cling to another woman and forget me, your mother, after all my sacrifice? I was in my early 20s when I had you and lost your father. I sacrificed my life, my youthful age for you. You remember when you were 10, when Aunt Carol asked me to marry some of the men that asked for my hand in marriage, but I rejected their offers. I wanted to raise you without any distraction. Dikanna, I gave you my all. I made sure you lacked nothing. And now, you want me to leave your house, Abby? It came like a punch on Dikanna's face. He felt so bad for his mother. This was the weapon she always used to make him feel so bad and unworthy of her. Dikanna Ojigo continued. I made sure you had the best education I can afford. With my sweat and blood, I made sure you never lacked. And because of this small girl, this job that you just got few years back, and you now think you have arrived, she said arrogantly. Dick Anna felt this burden weighing down on him whenever his mother repeated these words. This speech he was already used to, as long as he could remember. Dick Anna, you are marrying me and Isioma. You better go and tell your wife to wake up to reality, she said, as she turned away her face, hiding her tears. Dikanna was frozen in shock. Dikanna was at a loss for words. What did mom just say? Am I dreaming? Ha! What's this woman saying? He asked, looking embarrassed. Well, mom, let me just go to work first. When I return, we'll talk more about this thing. Because I don't understand this thing that you are saying. It's not possible, he said as he left for work that morning, looking so sad. That afternoon, Isioma made lunch for Ojugo and herself. After eating, Ojugo said to Isioma, don't bother to make dinner for my son. I will prepare my son's favorite soup for him. I know he's already tired with this your rice that you have been making for him since you people got married. He needs a change. He needs fresh food, she said mockingly as she entered the kitchen. Later that evening, Ojugo prepared a hot pot of egusi soup for Dikanna, which he enjoyed so much that night. Mom, thank you so much. This was such a great treat, which I've not had for a long time now, he said, munching on his meat. My son, don't worry. I'll still make you banga soup and your favorite bitter leaf soup with cow leg, with enough stockfish and dry fish, just exactly the way you love it. Oh, Mom, I can't wait, Bikanna said excitedly, salivating. Isioma looked on disappointedly at Dikanna, who was behaving like a child just because of food. I know with this now, he will not be able to tell this woman to leave our house. Isioma thought to herself. Ojugo refused to go back to her house, abandoning her baking shop and customers. Ojugo became a pain on Isioma's neck. She never allowed her have deep conversations with her husband, Dikanna. Whenever Dikanna was talking with Isioma, Ojugo would come and sit in their middle. Ojugo just wanted all the attention to herself. She was always interfering and complaining about everything that Isioma did, just to slight her and make her look bad before her husband. Ojugo looked jealous whenever Dikanna was playing with Isioma. That was when she would burst on them and start complaining about one thing or the other, which was irrelevant at that time. Sometimes she would make Dikanna sleep with her on her bed at night. Then Dikanna would have to sneak out when she was fast asleep, back to the arms of Isioma. Dikanna knew the antics of his mother, but he could not help it. He loved and respected her and would not want to hurt her or cause her any pain. Isioma was becoming uncomfortable with Ojugo's lies and pretense, all to make Dikanna spend all the little time he had after close of work with her. Isioma saw that she was deliberately trying to come in between her and Dikanna. Isioma was in pain. She knew that all Ojugo wanted was enough time with her son. She had no problem with all the attention that Dikanna was giving her, but to the extent of disrupting them whenever Dikanna was performing his husband duties. Ojugo would come, hitting their bedroom door, screaming Dikanna. This made Isioma so sad and angry. She would say to Dikanna, "Your mother is very wicked. She is desperately doing this. See how she's hovering over us like a northern hen whose cheeks are lost. Why is it that it is only when we are about to enjoy ourselves that she would come and start this her useless, pathetic story about being scared or having one nightmare? Dikanna, I'm very tired. Your mother's own is too much. And it's so strange that you are dancing to her tunes. Is it that you are afraid to caution her? You have to set boundaries with her. You are now married, a man and not a baby. You see, Dikanna, I'm just trying to be calm and considerate here. It seems your mother is not interested in your happiness. Isoma, it's enough now. Stop referring to my mom that way. Dikanna, I don't understand both of you at all. Doesn't she want us to have children? Is she not interested in us giving her grandchildren? It seems she's just okay with having only you. That's the only reason why she would always walk in here, banging on our door like that. Isioma continued angrily. She stood up and went to sit on the sofa, while Dikanna went to meet Ojugo, who was standing at the door. So, Mom, what is it? And Dikanna, please don't be angry. I'm feeling very lonely. I need you by my side. You know that nightmare I told you about the other time? I just had it again. I don't know. I don't mind lying on the floor in your bedroom just to be with you. I'm scared, she said, shaking in fear and looking pale. Dikanna, looking at his mother in such a frightful mood, assured her that she would be fine as they both walked back to her bedroom. This was one of Ojugo's ways of getting Dikanna's attention, even after Isioma have tried to make him see reasons with her. He feigned ignorance and would always explain to her, "Honey, this is my mother. Oh. You know she's part of my life all these years, and I hope you don't think I would leave her just because I'm married." This really hurt Isioma so much. She has seen this even before they got married. But she thought Dikanna was responsible enough to put his mother in her place. She felt like someone that was in a cage. She was helpless and did not know what to do. These 4 months of her marriage has been one trouble or the other with Ojugo and all her antics. One afternoon, as Isioma was making lunch, it was Ezinne, her sister, who was her maid of honor during her wedding. "Sister, I will be coming over to your city. My company sent me to the branch in your place. There have been some reshufflements in my office, so I will be resuming work next week." Isioma was so excited with the news. "I've really missed you, Ezinne, and I'll be delighted to have you here," she replied, smiling. A few days later, Ezinne arrived at Isioma's house. Isioma was so happy to see her sister. They chatted and had lots of laughter that afternoon. After Ezinne rested and had lunch. "So, Isioma, you mean your husband, in this age and time, allowed his mother to live with you at this your early stage in marriage? With all his exposure, my sister, I have talked and talked to. You know men now. And you know he's also her only child. Their bond is beyond reasoning," Isioma said, sighing. "You are too quiet for my liking, Isioma. You are too soft. If you give her enough bath booze now, she will just leave your house." As they were talking, Ojugo, who was walking into the kitchen, came to the living room where they sat, looking at them in this threatening look. She hissed and walked away. "Isioma, what was that?" Ezinne asked. "I can see this woman is a lot of trouble." Oh." That evening, Dikanna was happy to see Ezinne when he got back from work. He had only met her once during their church wedding. "You are welcome to our home, and please make yourself comfortable," Dikanna said, with a pleasant smile. "Thank you so much," Ezinne replied. Ezinne had just spent 2 days with Isioma when that Saturday she was in her room, scrolling through her laptop, trying to reply to some of her emails. When she overheard the voice of Isioma and Ojugo, she quickly stood up from the sofa. and headed to the kitchen, where Isioma was making dinner. She was shocked to see Ojugo scolding Isioma like a child. Ichioma was trying to explain to her, Mama, please, I will be through in a few minutes. If I don't complete this cooking, the vegetables will go stale. Thank you very much, Madam Chef, Chief Cook. So I should sit here and wait for you, Abi? Ojugo replied, in anger. You girls of nowadays, you don't have respect at all. See the audacity and commanding voice. Bia Isioma, get out of my way now. Let me make soup for my son. Mama, she just already explained to you now. All she is asking for is just few minutes. Ezinne said, pleading with her. Oh no, who asked this one? How dare you interrupt me when I'm talking? She looked at Ezinne in disdain. I can see your mother did not train you girls well. Ojugo replied in a scoffing tone. Ezinne breathed deeply, trying to calm her nerves down. When suddenly, like the flash of lightning, Ojugo held Isioma by her long braided hair and dragged her out of her way. And Ezinne, in defense of her sister Isioma, pushed Ojugo, who hit her buttocks hard on the floor. Isioma, still in pains and fear, rushed to Ojugo. Oh, Mama, please, I'm very sorry. Please get up, Mama, she said, pleading with Ojugo. See, Ojugo, if you touch me, look at this pretender. You think I don't know, ba? You brought your sister into my son's house to beat me up. She is now your defender, Abi. You will see. As Ojugo managed to get up to her feet, Ezinne pulled Isioma out of the kitchen to her bedroom. Isioma, why are you begging that woman? Ezinne, can't you see that woman you are referring to is my mother-in-law? Isioma said in a fearful tone. What do I do? What do you think Dikanna will think of me? I'm not happy about what just happened though, but it's good for her. Ezinne muttered quietly. As they were still talking, Dikanna drove in. Ezinne said to Isioma, you are not a slave, but a wife. Why are you shaking like this? This is your home, and you have more rights than your mother-in-law. Well, Isioma, I want you to know that if anything goes wrong here, I'm here for you. I cannot watch that woman pull your hair in such manner. She's just been wicked. She had to treat you in such manner just because she wants to make one useless soup for her son. It's heartbreaking that you have been in this since you got married and you did not let anyone know. Ojugo, hearing Dikanna's voice, as Isioma went to welcome him, came out weeping bitterly, with red swollen eyes. Ah, Mom, what happened to you? Dikanna asked, almost screaming. Ask your wife, oh. She wanted to kill me. She and her useless sister team up and beat me. Only because I wanted to prepare the bitter leaf soup you asked me to make for you, she said, sobbing. Dikanna, they almost killed me today. Oh. Dikanna, that was not how it happened, Isioma tried to explain. Before she could utter another word, Dikanna landed her a hot slap on her face. Isioma screamed in pain and cried. I did not do anything, no. It was not intentional. It was Mama. Which Mama? Ojugo interjected immediately. You and your sister want to kill me in my son's house. Ezinne was astonished. I'm highly disappointed in you. He said to Dikanna, Dikanna, you slapped your wife without asking questions. You took sides with your mom. I will not stand there and watch you kill my sister. You call yourself a man and you lay your filthy hands on your wife. Isioma, you just have to follow me now. I cannot allow you sleep here for a night. You are going with me to my hotel. I have already booked one, and an Uber will be here soon. Isioma, it's okay. Stop crying now. Ezinne tried to console her. You have said that your husband is a weakling. His mother is manipulating him. If we take this softly, without reacting, they may do worse tomorrow. That evening, Isioma picked some of her clothes. She went with Ezinne to her hotel room. Ojugo was glad to see Isioma and Ezinne leave the house, finally. My plans have been executed, she said. Isioma thought that she was smart. She smiled wickedly, feeling herself. Dikanna was not bothered or concerned that Isioma had left. Isioma that I thought could not hurt a fly could do such a thing. She baffled me today, teaming up with her sister to beat my mother up. Later that night, Dikanna went to the pharmacy and got some drugs for Jugo. Sorry, Mom. You will be fine. Please, I'm so sorry for what happened. Dikanna, didn't I warn you about Isioma? I told you that she's not a wife material. She lacks respect. She cannot cook. You help her virtually with all the chores at home. She lazes about the whole house, pressing her phone up and down. It's fine she even left with her sister, that one that is very arrogant. At Ezinne's hotel room, Isioma continued to cry. She was so sad and disappointed in Dikanna. She never believed that Dikanna would raise his finger on her and take side with his mother. Isioma, I'm not happy with what you are doing. Oh. You are crying for a man that prefers you to his mother. A man who places no value on you. He prefers his mother to his own wife. Isioma, please stop crying for Dikanna. He does not deserve your tears with what I saw today. Ezinne tried to console Isioma. Thank you so much for watching this story. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, subscribe. Also, like and share this story with your loved ones and friends. Until we meet again next time, stay blessed and bye. And bye.